HR is not just about hiring and developing talent, nor is it just about, organizing events or handling documents and all the onboardings that we do. It's much more than that. It's not just about crafting policies, being the custodian of all the guidelines. HR is more than that.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's podcast. I'm Rahul Abhishek, founder and CEO of HireWithEve.ai, an AI agent that increases applicant screening accuracy by 90% and ensures that no exceptional candidate is overlooked. Our today's guest is Ms. Veena Joji. To introduce Veena, she is the current Chief Human Resource Officer at Apexon, a digital-first technology giant that is backed by Goldman Sachs and Everstone Capital. Veena has over 20 years of experience in leadership roles in organizations such as Epsilon, Thomson Reuters, and IBM. And she brings with herself extensive expertise in talent management and HR strategies. So welcome to the podcast, Veena.
Thank you so much, Rahul, for having me here.
Perfect. So, Veena, why don't we start the conversation by you just telling and sharing about your career and journey? And over the years, you've been heading and leading some of the most prestigious organizations out there. How has that gone for you? What have you learned there? And just a bit of your sharing of your professional career.
Okay, sure. So I currently head HR globally for Apexon, joined the organization over 3.5 years back, and it has been an interesting journey so far. Over the years, something that I have gathered is that resilience pays off. And what I have truly understood is that HR is the backbone of any organization. And I'm sure through the course of the conversation, you would understand my perspectives on various topics.
Of course, of course, of course. Thank you for that. So, in fact, on the topic of backbone, one of our beliefs and notion is that we feel HR are the superheroes of the organization. And let me share why we say that. It's
Okay.
because this particular function and people operating in this particular function are the ones who really gathers the team that executes and makes the mission and the vision alive. And which is why we feel they're the superheroes. I just would like to get your perspective on that notion. And yeah,
Sure. I mean, I don't know whether superheroes is the right term, but I couldn't agree with you more that we are responsible for everything, right? Responsible for attracting, developing, and retaining talent. We are responsible for the development of our leaders and fostering a culture that actually helps provide uh, people to want to come to the office and work. So we are the people who actually build the culture that helps people thrive. We are also helping people shape and deliver business and organization strategies. We align our practices and to what the business wants, and thus we contribute to, or rather, we are effective partners in the overall business success. So if you look at it from talent management to strategic partnerships to building capabilities to even being the voice of the people as well as the business at the same time, we manage that simultaneously. So we bring about that fine balance, and that I believe is our superpower. So hopefully that answers your question.
of course, of course, of course, it does, it does. And in doing so, I think, the other side of the coin, there are also always inherent weaknesses, with for every superpower, there's also kryptonite. Over your years of working within this domain and across organization, what are some of your observations that you think you have encountered where you feel the function overall can benefit by addressing some of these inherent weak areas?
I wouldn't say weaknesses, but sometimes HR as a function has to deal with perceptions of people viewing us as an administrative function. Sometimes our own adeptness in using data and analytics or even adopting technology is being a showstopper. But now I don't think that is true because over the last few years, I've actually seen the scenario shifting. And I think we have changed immensely and we have transformed ourselves as an organization, which really now is a key player in the business success. And people have started valuing and seeing that as well.
Right, right. And that shift, that change that you've observed, can you just give certain examples of actions, initiatives that leaders have taken within the HR domain to make sure that their people actually begin to succeed and begin to master some of these, initial adeptness, as so to say.
Sure. So when I talk about HR driving or being a partner to business growth and success, or equal partner, um, I'm I actually spoke about, aligning HR practices with overall business strategy, right? So, for example, if the organization wants to be a chosen service provider in a particular area, or if they want to position their product in a certain way, or launch a product, for example, there is a target timeline that all of us have, we chase towards, and a milestone that we define as success. So, when that vision is clear, when our purpose is clear, then what do? Then we clearly know how to achieve what we want to achieve. And to achieve that, we look at change in structure, change in what are the new skills that is required. We look at um, what are the expansion plans that the organization should have, what are the skills and capability that one should have. All of this comes into picture. And then what does HR do? We focus on building that capability by first assessing our in-house talent. Then we look at deciding if we should hire for those skills or develop talent. We look at repurposing roles if required. We play a pivotal role in simplifying hierarchies to make work easy and less bureaucratic. And of course, another important part is, we focus on what do we need to do with our performance metrics so that people know what they are working towards and what defines success. And then, of course, rewards programs to engage and motivate our talent to achieve this. So, in this way, HR becomes a strategic partner and creates value. And I always believe that you bet on people and not on strategies. And HR's role is actually to help the organization win that bet. That's what I think.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that makes a lot of sense and a very comprehensive way of thinking of the overall function when it comes to even in the success of the overall business as a
Ye-
whole.
Yes.
So thanks a lot for sharing that. It makes a lot of sense. You did mention something very interesting, which is it's all about the people and not so much about strategy. But if
Sure.
I could just try to understand the HR strategy part of it, what is the kind of balance then the leadership tries to have between the people aspect of the business as well as overall strategy, which is in a way aligned to the various KPIs and goals of the organization? How do the leadership goes about balancing these two sides of the equation?
The focus is how do you achieve what you want to achieve with the right people. So the balance has to be achieved through skilling them, recognizing them, compensating them, and engaging them. Like I said, you can't have employees come in and work leaving their heart at home. So if they have to bring in their best selves to work, what is it that we need to create at work to make them help the organization win what they want to? And that's how we have to strike a balance. Now, as HR, you also navigate difficult situations because not always can we give what people want, and not always can we also align to what business requires. So how do we bring about that kind of balance is what I was referring to. Sometimes having those difficult conversations, sometimes helping people understand where we are and why we are doing what we are doing, effective communications, all of this plays a role.
Right, right, right. Makes sense, makes sense. So, Veena, if we zoom out now, and again, you've had a great kind of opportunity to view the whole industry over a few decades. Uh,
Yeah.
what are some of the really concrete trends that, let's say, post-COVID, you have observed that in a way is impacting organization, then our function, and within the function there are of course a lot of changes happening because of these larger macro trends? So it would be great if you could share a bit of insights and over this.
Okay, there are quite that is happening, and I think every organization has their own journey. But what I can talk about myself and our company is that a lot more focus and interest in integrating AI and technology into HR is there. So there are two reasons. It helps us become more efficient, it helps drive better decisions, and also optimize costs. So the digital transformation of HR is a big agenda for us. The second thing, which I think is common to all and which has taken center stage, is the employee experience bit. So, employee experience, well being, and culture that has become very pivotal for every organization. Then, an interesting trend, which I absolutely love and I have seen, is the metamorphosis of the learning and training function to being talent development, which means it now encompasses the whole gamut of identifying skill gaps to skilling to development of effective leaders to even playing a pivotal role in shaping the culture of the organization. So I think these are some of the industry trends and something that we have also adopted for ourselves.
Of course, of course. And it would be great if we just dig a little bit deeper into, integrating AI. And as I understand, of course, companies and industries as whole would have one of the big items of the agenda now in how could we have, better and more AI
Yeah.
as part of our workflow. What has been your, in a way, experience considering a new tech, considering, of course, we are a highly established company and function. How does that kind of implementation, what kind of challenges, what kind of adoption issues you may encounter when such kind of new systems and old processes come together, and how have you gone about even, bringing them together?
Okay. It's too soon to speak about AI, but I can speak about the role of technology in our organization. So definitely, it has played a transformative role, and it's all about choosing the right technology. And how do we go about doing that? We ask ourselves three things, right? Does it improve efficiency? Does it enhance user experience and the HR experience, because we are the administrators of that technology, and how soon can the efforts and costs be optimized? So it's the how we choose the tool or what tool we choose to have is based on all of this. So, be it choosing the proper ATS or the referral platform or the platform for workforce management, because we are in a services organization and there is a constant shuffle of people between projects. We need to ensure that all of it integrates nicely. Also, obviously, this brings about a lot of efficiency and reduces time on redundant tasks, right? Also, if you look at the talent management process, be it performance assessment, succession planning, the whole cycle, including comp recommendations, plotting of your top talent, interventions, learning interventions that you would want to everything has to talk to each other, and it has to be made easy for the HR as well as the user.
Right.
So that is what, as an organization, we are focusing on. How can we, at the click of a button, get all the information? How can
Right.
it be mobile enabled? So, as an employee, when I'm checking on myself, I know exactly what are my strengths, what are my areas of opportunities, where do I stand in terms of training, what are the opportunities I have. If I were to choose X path versus Y path, what is it that I need to do to get there? All of that. So, I won't say we are there yet, but that's what we are aspiring towards and where we are working towards.
Of course, of course, of course.
Another, if I have the time, I would
We
love
do,
to
we
share
do.
one more thing, and that is the initiative that I'm particularly proud of, which is our engagement platform. Now,
Okay.
that's AI enabled, and that's it's a bot that goes and connects with the employees, and the employees can go and share their thoughts and concerns, and at any point in time. So the value that this brings is enormous, given that we we are able to understand the pulse of the employees almost instantly and can address concerns promptly. We should understand that we are a large organization, 5,000 plus, spread across multiple geographies, different time zones, and our HR team is very optimal in size. So, how do we manage these huge spans? And that's where technology plays a huge role in actually connecting us with everyone and alerting areas of concern. And another important part of it is that while technology does its role, we are also allowed to focus on our time to do more strategic initiatives. So it helps achieve that balance.
Of course, and those are really great examples. I was in fact going to ask deeper questions within employee experience, but you in fact volunteered with it, and that's a fantastic example of using AI for that to understand the pulse of the organization. So that was a great example, and I hope that project is also going on quite well in the company.
Yes, absolutely. We have
Perfect.
had that platform for over 2 years now, and it's working really well.
That's really great to know. That's really great to know. Now moving our focus to more in terms of from employee experience to employee retention. What in the current what has been your strategy? What are your thoughts in order to have a longer retention for the current employees? And what has worked, what has not worked? Some insights there would be great.
Sure, I can certainly talk about what we are doing. So, first and foremost, our focus is to retain our talent. So, how do we do that? This is created by creating a better employee experience. And how do we go about doing that? And I touched upon this, but again, reiterating, obviously, learning opportunities, community initiatives, competitive pay, retention payouts, depending on where they are and what they are doing and what project they are part of. So, all of this, and I'm sure everyone does that. Something that we have recently started and we have seen success is in boomerang hiring. So our Returns to Roots program helps us rehire and actually quickly reintegrate our people. So there are people who have been with us, who left us, and then you are coming back. So they are not just able to align to the culture quickly, they are not just able to deliver, but also create an impact by bringing new skills and experiences that they have acquired along the way. And that creates a huge difference. Something else is, employee experience. I spoke about it, but again, it's very, very critical. So when when we talk about spread across multiple time zones, multiple cities, and how do we connect with people, we have used that tool, and that has actually helped us bring down our attrition. We have figured out what is the problem, and we have been able to promptly address those concerns. And obviously, we are also able to see where are our red pockets and what is it that we need to do. We are able to identify trends probably in certain projects or certain locations, and we are able to come up with strategic initiatives that can help address those problems and mitigate whatever fire is there. So these are some of the things that we have done. There are a lot more initiatives, but these are probably the top three things that comes to my mind.
Yeah, in fact, I mean, the Return to Roots and Boomerang initiative, that sounds really amazing. I mean, would be great to hear just a little bit more about it. Like, I'm quite sure it must have run quite successfully. How did it all happen? What are the results you're seeing? How did you come up with the idea itself? Like, would be great to know a little bit more about it.
So, like I said, it's a very new initiative. It's just been quite new and recent. But there was a lot of conversation around engaging our alumni,
Right,
but we did not want to stop at just engaging them and letting them know how well we are doing and how fast we are progressing. We also wanted to involve them in some of our thought leadership in some of the projects that we are working on. And then obviously we were also sharing some of the opportunities, and they were aware of it because we were advertising it on job portals as well. But we wanted to make it a little more intimate by sharing it with them personally and saying, hey, if it makes sense for you, do let us know.
right.
And, encouraging leaders to reach out to people who have left them, probably as recent as a few months back or even a year back, and telling them if there is an opportunity, get them back and we will see what can be done. And when people come back, it's not just about, like I said, the richness of the experience that they bring in, what that they have gathered from outside. They are also coming back because they feel at home, right?
Right.
They're loving the culture over here, and that's why they are coming back. So we've realized that they become our biggest ambassadors.
Yeah.
And they also help us in mitigating attrition. So it works in multiple ways. And like I said, the project is very recent, but we are already seeing results. And I'm hoping that, this will actually gain the momentum that we want to see in the coming months.
Yeah, I mean, I wish the very best, and it's a great idea, and absolutely understand when we say that an employee rejoined and becomes the ambassador. It makes a lot of sense. Otherwise, they would not even come back, and they would have the pulse again of the organization also. So
Yes.
that is great to hear. Now, Veena, I mean, as an HR leader, we talked about the current times, talent retention and technology. At the leadership level, what are some of the areas of challenges that you have often seen, come across your table? Would be great to understand some of these areas and perhaps how you've gone about even addressing them. That would be quite insightful for other HR professionals also listening to this.
Okay. Different roles pose different challenges.
Of course.
But if I were to talk about my current role, it's important, it becomes imperative that I share a little bit of the Apexon history as well.
Right.
So, Apexon that we see today is an integration of five distinct companies that have come together as part of mergers and acquisition. So when I say five distinct companies, each one had its own unique culture, it had its own unique set of talent and expertise. And overnight, each one of them, from being just about in hundreds, is now currently a 5,000 plus organization. So you can imagine, right, that explosive growth that we see as an individual entity versus a one Apexon.
Right.
So, as an HR leader, you can imagine the challenge. You have to respect legacy, yet you have to move towards a new tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, aligning HR practices with ever evolving business strategies. And then while maintaining employee engagement and satisfaction became a huge challenge. Because I had to navigate organizational changes. I had to address diverse expectations of people, and also, yet at the same time, ensure that the people practices are aligned to achieving business success. So, tough decisions, real tough conversations, benefits, what should we give more, what should we take back, all of this was part of that story. So it wasn't easy, the journey definitely wasn't easy, but I think what helped was openness, uh, transparency, promptness in addressing the small things that come our way. That actually helped. And then obviously I did not know it all. So being vulnerable and saying, I don't know if I don't know, and then seeking help from consultants who were there to help us out, from peers, from leaders. I think all of this helped me come through this journey, and probably that's a good lesson for others as well.
Of course, of course. And it's really great that you also told us about the context, because how the whole organization came together was multiple organizations all together came together with very different culture set, I would imagine, and a lot of legacy and new talent. So that must have been quite a time in the organization to put the whole thing
Yeah.
together, a bit of puzzle
And
that all has to come together.
absolutely. And I'm talking about a span of 3 years where all this happened,
Wow.
so it was quick as well.
Right, right, right. And of course, you have to seek out help. You have to seek out, it has to be transparent, and only then people are together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect, perfect. Thanks a lot, Veena, for sharing that. Now, Veena, we are coming to a close of our podcast. However, I have a final question, which is targeted towards the younger audience, the younger generation who are about to join the workforce.
Okay.
You've definitely been and seen across multiple organizations. So my question is, what do you think should be the mindset of the younger generation, the ethic, expectation when they are going to join an organization that will eventually lead to success and a lot of learning and growth for them?
Okay. Um, if I were to look at, I mean, I'm assuming that the audience would be more of HR professionals. So if I were to look at HR, people who are aspiring to be part of HR, I just want to let everyone know that HR is not just about hiring and developing talent, nor is it just about, organizing events or handling documents and all the onboardings that we do. It's much more than that. It's not just about crafting policies, being the custodian of all the guidelines. HR is more than that. For me, and you will understand as you grow in the role, that HR is a very transformative role where you have the power to shape not just careers, but also businesses. You have the power to influence the mindset of individuals. And your work is going to directly impact business outcomes. So by doing that, what you're going to do is you're going to contribute to building something which is far more significant than just growth. And because you're going to actually help the organization create a lasting legacy through its outcomes, through the results, through people. So if you were to understand this, then obviously focus will shift from just pursuing that degree and that certification you wanted to actually creating the true competence. And how does true competence come? It is through getting your hands dirty with every aspect of HR. So my advice would be, don't shy away from picking on projects and opportunities that come your way. It might make you uncomfortable, but go for it, because that will give you a platform to learn. And don't ever miss a chance to learn from experiences. I always like listening to leadership experiences, people experiences. So please do that. Never miss an opportunity. And then always understand what you are in it for. What is the organization doing? What's the purpose of the organization? Where are we headed? So, building that business acumen becomes very critical. Don't look at your job as a standalone function. How are you contributing to the larger organization and its purpose? And that can come about only if you develop business acumen. So that's also very, very critical. And obviously staying relevant in this ever changing world. So if you were to do that, then I'm sure you will have an enduring impact on both the people as well as the organization. So that's all I have to say.
Wow. I mean, that was very, very insightful and very practical. Thanks a lot for sharing that. I mean, focus on creating true competence and get your hands dirty, and then of course do not leave any opportunity to experience something. And
Yeah.
business acumen, by far business acumen. So
Yes.
I think that was extremely relevant, not only for youngsters, but I think professionals of all level of seniority where they are.
Thank you.
Veena, I'd really like to thank you for your time, for sharing your thoughts, insights with us, and also the audience at large. And I wish you the very best going forward. Really enjoyed this conversation.
Thank you. And the pleasure was all mine. Thank you so much and wish you the very best.
Thank you so much, Veena.
Bye.